You're listening to Ticket to the Stars Presents, where you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you. This season on TTTSP, we talk to the bright spots here in the Triangle and beyond. Out front or behind the scenes, these artists know how to shine. This season, meet the visionary and founder of a women's theater festival, a queen of comedy who went comedy instead of crazy. Meet an award-winning producing artistic director of a professional theater company, or an R&B singer dropping a debut EP 20 years in the making. An actor getting an MFA from one of the country's top-rated acting programs, or a documentary filmmaker turned horror film producer. On Ticket to the Stars Presents, you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you. That's TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.org. A Stargaze Broadcast.
This is Ticket to the Stars Presents TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3. I'm your host, Gloria, and I am so excited about our star guest today. Let me tell you guys, there comes a time when you meet someone and you just feel yourself kind of floating in the air because the person is just so positive. Their energy is just so tangible. You kind of feel like you've been taken to a new world. Well, let me tell you, my boss, Daniel Long, had the opportunity to meet such a person last year. We'll let him get into how he and she met, but I'm going to start off with a lovely bio. Yeah, he's one of those. He's one of those that if you Google his name, a bio pops up, okay? I'm going to read it, though, and he's going to update us on it because guess what? His bio's outdated. Either Google can't keep up or our star guest is late. We'll figure it out. Here we go. Our star guest, Sheldon MBA. Did I say it right?
Yes, you did.
Thank you, darling. Sheldon MBA is a native of Durham, North Carolina. He is a current junior at North Carolina Central University studying theater and dance performance. You hear that? He said, ooh, because guess what? He's way out of North Central. He's done past Central. Okay. Sheldon plans to obtain his Master of Fine Arts and Dance Education and work with kids with disabilities on body awareness. Now, I do see at the bottom here, it says Sheldon MBA, actor, New Orleans Shakespeare Festival, LinkedIn. So this is probably your LinkedIn bio. Is that right, Sheldon?
Yes, that's what it is.
Does it need to be updated? Is that what's going on here?
Yeah, that's what's happening.
Yeah. So, because you've graduated from Central, am I correct?
Oh, yes, I have.
What year was that?
2016, December.
Oh, okay. And you are in the process, if I'm correct, of getting your master's right now.
Yes, I am.
Okay, update this bio for us.
Okay, I got you. So currently right now, I'm a second-year grad student at the University of Southern Mississippi, getting my MFA in theater performance. So there's a difference in that.
Yes.
I still want to work with kids with disabilities and work on people with body awareness, but I feel like my path is taking me a little differently this time around than what I initially planned. So
tell us the name of your school again.
The University of Southern Mississippi.
Not Northern Mississippi, but Southern Mississippi.
Southern Mississippi.
I got to say, I didn't know they had a theater program there, but I know it's a very good one.
Yeah, it's among it's in the top 25 in the country.
Top 25. And I know they took good care of you, right? Can you tell us about that?
Yes.
In fact, tell us about the journey of making a choice to go to grad school, get accepted, if I'm not mistaken, in more than one grad school. Am I correct?
Yes.
And then having to make a call on which one to attend.
Wow. So after I graduated, I worked professionally in the Durham, Raleigh area, choreographing. I worked on my first big show, The Royale with Daniel Long.
Oh, that you said it. That's where you met Daniel Long.
Yes.
And that was your first big show, The Royale?
Yeah, my first big professional show in Raleigh.
Amen.
That I was performing in, that I had like a significant part in, which was one of the biggest shows I had after I graduated.
Yes. And that was at the Burning Coal Theater, downtown Raleigh, right?
Yeah. It was a blast, but I was really looking for something financially secure while I still figured out what it is that I really, really wanted to do. I had a lot of options on, where I could go or what I could do. But I always wanted to go to grad school for the degree, for more education, more learning, and more like concentrated teaching, you
Okay,
know.
because so you do want to teach.
Yeah. Yeah, at some point I do want to teach, but like right now it's like
Oh
I'm
no, you mean
satisfying.
concentrated teaching for you to receive the teaching. I get it. Is that what you
Oh,
meant?
yeah, that's what I meant, but
Okay.
it goes both ways.
Goes
Yeah.
both ways, yeah.
On Ticket to the Stars Presents, you don't have to reach for the stars. We bring the stars to you. That's TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.radio.org.
Yeah, the biggest reason why grad school was an option was so we all have the dreamer and the realist inside of us, and I'm really big on you have to satisfy both.
Yeah.
In a sense, you know, the dreamer in me just wants to go out and just perform and audition and all that great stuff. But while I'd be out there doing that, the realist in me would be hurting on the inside. Like,
Yes.
do you have any type of like, you know, stability in your field? Or so I going to grad school gives me some stability after I graduate because I can at least work consistently in education or with companies in various forms with my degree. So
Yeah, so you're doing a balancing act between being practical, but then also being a dreamer, an artist.
because yes, yeah, because like once I'm done with grad school, I'm telling you, I'm taking like the biggest risk. I'm taking like the biggest leaps of faith because I mean I'd feel freed up to do that, you know?
Yeah. You mean you'd feel free to follow the dream? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Sheldon MBA. First of all, let me let the listeners know if Sheldon MBA sounds slightly far away, that's because he's such a superstar that he actually is far away, and he was gracious enough to take the time to connect his headphones to his phones. And he is in Mississippi right now. You are literally Sheldon in Mississippi, am I correct?
Yes.
And we're using the good old technology called FaceTime,
Yes.
Apple, iTunes, and we're being really creative in our technology here. I'm physically in the studio, and I'm looking at Sheldon as if he's here in the studio, but he's on a phone, and we're on FaceTime. We're working this out. So if he sounds a little far, that's what's going on. But we give him mad props for taking the time out to do this. So I know you talked about being in the Royale, and one of the reasons why you were cast in the Royale, yes, I know, is because of your incredible dance ability.
Yes.
And the role required, talk to me about that. Was that a surprise, or did the director talk to you about that?
So one thing that I've learned, my dance background has made me
Dope.
very adaptable.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. But it's made me very adaptable to like any form of like physical work in the realm of theater. Not saying I'm like I can catch on to it like crazy, but it doesn't take me long to pick up and adapt and understand like what my body has to do for like what has to be done. Mm-hmm. And I think the funnest thing about it was it's like it's very rare that you find like the actor-dancer combination.
Yep.
and that's, you know, so I think that's also a commodity. And people see dance and people think movement and people like, so he can move. Okay, let's get him to box a little bit. I'm like, okay. And boom, bada boom.
You talking about the audition?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there was boxing in that show.
Yeah, the audition, I did a piece for Colored Boys, and then when I did a follow-up, the director, Avis Hatchet Puzo, Puzo, there we go. She had me read with the guy who was Jay Jackson and Philip, the guy who was his trainer in the show, and we all read a scene together, and we kind of meshed.
Yeah. And one of the amazing, I mean, the moment that took the entire audience by surprise, of course, is when you get knocked out, not physically, it's a very abstractly done, but then your body almost literally lifts off the floor and then hits the ground, and yet it was completely orchestrated by your own body.
Yes.
Yeah, that's that dancer stuff right there. That's that dancer
what
stuff.
It is.
So tell me, would you define yourself as were you a dancer first, then actor? Or were you always the dancer? Did you always identify yourself as a dancer and actor?
It's a tough one. I started acting before I started dancing. Growing up, I had no sense of rhythm. I didn't know my left from my right. when I'd be in church, my mom would have to hold my hands and clap my hands on the beat.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Considering where you are.
You know, I'm a advocate for if you want something, you work for it, you know?
Yeah.
And I believe like some of my real talents and gifts are like consistency, determination, and persistency, because if I want it, I'm not going to stop until I get it, you know? It's one of my, I think my greatest strengths, but also like my downfalls, because I can get tunnel vision at sometimes.
Okay.
And, you know, being an artist and then being a growing adult at the same time, it's like, I still got to be aware of like other things that are happening, not just like, you know, what the end goal is. I still have to make it to the end goal. So I have to be aware of a lot of stuff around me. But, you know, it is like, it's one of my work ethics is like one of the things that I bank on every single time.
You're listening to Ticket to the Stars Presents, where you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you. Be inspired.
Two things, determination and discipline.
We think about money. We think about like, what if my body gives out? What if it doesn't? I think we have to give our dreams an honest shot.
And be entertained, tuning into interviews with the stars of the entertainment world here in the Triangle and beyond.
I'm literally in the middle of Times Square right now.
My dad took us to the local carnival. We were so excited because we didn't get to do normal things, you know? On the way out, we're like, Pops, can we get a souvenir? He said, a souvenir, really? I'll tell y'all. He said, then where's your ticket? Frame that.
Find out what's going on and what's up next.
That Remakes geared the opportunity for an international debut.
We've got 2 upcoming events that we're excited about. The first will be happening in October in partnership with the Wicked Witch.
Get up close and personal with the stars.
This was a real passion project of mine. This was a project that I wrote, produced, directed, and edited.
Let's hear that again, please.
I was diagnosed back in 2012. The only cure is a bone marrow transplant.
And find out what they stand for.
But I want to be very careful because a lot of theaters say, oh, we're relegating our risky work, new work to a second stage. And I'm very, very adamant that that's not what's happening here.
And we want to make sure that it's understood that we respect a person's right to be who they are.
The rest of us are out here doing it because we love it. In the same way that a dancer has to dance and a writer has to write. A filmmaker has to make films because without it, they will wither and die.
This season on Ticket to the Stars Presents, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.radio.org, a Stargaze Broadcast. Now back to TTTSP with this week's exciting star guest.
Well, let's talk about your end goal, because you brought that up. Right now, do you have a vision for what your end goal is in terms of your acting career as it stems from grad school?
Yeah. No. And it's okay.
Amen. That's exactly right. That's okay.
Because it's like, I know what I want to do. Like an ideal week for me, if I had to pick the perfect week for work, I'd like to wake up, teach class, take class, go to a rehearsal, and at the end of the week, go see a show or go be in a show. I can't place myself in a specific location at the moment.
Right.
You know, I am considering like locations, but it's like, and I know I probably should, but it's like I really just want to like, that looks interesting. That's a great project. The pay is good. The role is interesting. I want to go for that. And if that happens to be in New York, then I'm going to go for that. If something happens to be in Atlanta, I'm going to go for that. If something happens to be in Canada, I'm going to go for that. I don't want to marry a specific location for my end goal to be, because I want to perform and I want to create and I want to inspire people with my work. And that could be anywhere.
That could come in various shapes and forms.
Right. And with the MFA that I'm getting, it does give me not a fallback, because the reason why I got the MFA in theater is because I don't believe in plan Bs. I don't believe in fallbacks, because that distracts from what you really, really want to do.
Okay.
And because it's like, if it can feed what it is that I want to do, I'm going to do it. And getting an MFA in theater is that. And it's like, it gives me a cushion still working in my field, still achieving one of my goals, which is teaching, that I can pick up, which is very lucrative at any any place in the world.
It really sounds like it's a win-win, yeah, because you're passionate about teaching as well.
Yes.
And that MFA is what they call a terminal degree, so you can take it out. So whether you are a celebrity on the international scale and they're like, oh, bypass the MFA, he could teach because everyone knows him. And we know that's going to happen anyway, that international stardom. But with the MFA, they're alone, that just having that document, that credential behind your name now enables a world of teaching opportunities, more so than without, perhaps.
On Ticket to the Stars Presents, you don't have to reach for the stars. We bring the stars to you. That's TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.org.
The University of Southern Mississippi, I got it right?
Yes.
Master's program in theater.
Mm-hmm.
It's really already hooking you up in many ways. I understand you just finished a summer of mad work, right?
So,
talk to us.
So Hattiesburg, Mississippi is about an hour, 45 minutes away from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Ooh.
Yeah, and New Orleans has the New Orleans Shakespeare Festival down there and Summer Lyric Theater down there. One of my professors from last year, he worked with the Shakespeare Festival, and a group of the grad students and undergrads, we went to go see him in the Tempest in January of this year. Mm-hmm. And this is how, like, I'm telling you, this is how, like, sporadic my mind can be sometimes, or spontaneous. It was like, wow, I've seen Shakespeare before, and like I'm in grad school because I know I need a lot more experience with different forms of theater. But I was like, maybe I should just audition for Shakespeare. Mm-hmm. I need to get some Shakespeare under my belt.
Yeah, let me just do a little Shakespeare audition over here, right?
Like, because I've had experience, like, working on monologues, verse and scansion and stuff, but actually, like, doing, like, a full production of it, that would be, like, a challenge for me. And I auditioned in February, and I was like, well, I hope it went well, because majority of it is based off, like, what I've learned, the little bit I learned when I was an undergrad, and also just, like, I think this is what it's supposed to sound like. I think this is what it's supposed to feel like.
What did that sound like? You got a sample line?
Do I have a
Come forth thou, remember thou forth's lines.
Doubtful it stood. The merciless McDonwad led his rebellion from the Western Isles, and fortune on his damn coral smiled, showed like a rebel's whore. Till brave Macbeth, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, carved out his passage to reach the slave. Yeah, so that was fun.
What? Talk to me. The crowd goes wild. Look, and you just right off the top of the dome. A lot of times you haven't done a monologue in a while, and sometimes it slips.
Yeah. The funny thing, so I managed to get cast in both of their productions and in one of their stage readings. I was Second Lord in All's Well That Ends Well. And then I was the bloody sergeant and one of the murderers in Macbeth. And then I was Oswald in King Lear. So it was a Shakespeare-filled summer. I asked for Shakespeare, and God said, all right, here you go.
Hey, I'm going to open up the floodgates of Shakespeare. Are you ready?
Yes.
If I'm not mistaken, too, Danielle Long, my boss, she told me that you sent her a text one day, if I'm not mistaken, sharing an incredible testimony regarding getting something that a number of actors really aspire for.
Yes.
What was that?
I am now EMC. I am an equity member candidate. Yes. I am currently working on getting my equity card. It was something that seemed so far-fetched, so far away, so far out of reach.
Did it?
It did, because it's like, first of all, Danielle is amazing and phenomenal. And it was like at the point of like, so you have to be like extremely, 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 extremely like well-known, and you have to be in the game. And so just oozing talent and artistry just to get this equity card. And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do some Shakespeare. And it's like, we offer equity points. And I'm like, what?
Yes.
I was like, yes, please.
Yes. And, for our listeners who may or may not even know about this equity card, now you can go to actorsequity.org and read up on it, and aspiring actors. But, it's not something that every actor may even want. But I know generally, though, the storyline is that if you're an actor in New York City, or if you're an actor in the major cities, you may find that having your equity card is a bonus, because then you can actually audition for shows like that are on Broadway, for which you would need to be a member of Actors Equity, which is the union for professional stage actors. Like in LA, you got SAG, Screen Actors Guild for film. You have Actors Equity for stage.
You're listening to Ticket to the Stars Presents, where you don't have to reach for the stars, we bring the stars to you. This season on Ticket to the Stars Presents, be inspired and be entertained by tuning into interviews with the stars of the entertainment world here in the Triangle and beyond. Find out what's going on and what's up next. Get up close and personal with the stars and find out what they stand for. Ticket to the Stars Presents. That's TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.radio.org. A Stargaze Broadcast. Now back to TTTSP with this week's exciting star guest.
Look it up. I want, part of my mission, Sheldon, is going to be to educate the masses in the non-big theater pools, if you will, about what Actors Equity is. And I really think it'll be dope to build a bigger equity community here in the South, too.
I believe so, because I just, it's more so on the actor's part, the time and energy that you put into the work, the rehearsal hours that we keep sometimes. It's like, it's not that we're money hungry. No, it's not even that at all. It's at the point like, I want to be able to say, hey, my day job, I'm going to take off for 4 weeks so I can focus on this solely, and I can produce the work that you hired me to produce, at the level that I can without overstretching myself, but when companies can only pay you but so much, for so little for so much of your time, it's like,
it's a tough balance.
Yeah. It's like some people can do it. And this isn't knocking like companies that don't hire equity or can't do equity. That's not what I'm doing. Absolutely. It's just like, I'm all for like, you have to, you got to put out what you want people to put in.
I feel that.
Yeah, and I'm for it, and I think equity is great because people think equity is like the end all to be all. Is like you can never work in any other form of theater again if it's not equity, if it's not, but it's like there are so many different types of contracts.
There are so many types of contracts. That's so true. There's so true, even for nonprofit. I mean, you could we're just going to say that there's so many forms. And so that's where I think even the actors who are in areas that are, that are not New York, Chicago, or LA, is maybe we can help approach the theaters, educate the theaters on the opportunities that there are to work with the equity actors. Because so often I think equity actors in these areas will be told, oh, I'm sorry, we don't do equity. We can't afford equity. But there are options.
There are options.
And so maybe our job is to help with informing that. I'm sorry to cut you off, buddy. Keep going.
No, you're good. No, and I think, and it's just misinformation because they think equity is like, okay, that's going to be like, oh gosh, $2,000 a week.
Right.
Oh, it's going to drive us down the hole. I'm like, there's no.
There are options.
There are options. And it's, and this isn't, I hope this doesn't sound like shady or catty or anything like that, but it's like, a lot of folks won't have to go equity to get their work if folks paid actors what they needed to pay them, Yeah,
I understand what you mean. And then the cross side of that too is sometimes actors who are in equity are getting less work in some of the regional theaters and touring companies because they're not wanting to work with equity actors. It's kind of a catch-22 sometimes.
Yeah.
As is getting the equity card itself. So you're an EMC. You're an equity, what is it, membership candidate? What does the M stand for? Okay.
Yeah, membership candidate.
And I know that it's one of those things where either, outside of that at least, it's either in order to get the equity card, you got to do an equity show, but you can't do the equity show unless you have the equity card.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things of like, I'm in the process of telling like my my friends, get into Shakespeare companies, submit yourself to Shakespeare companies. It's a great way to get that experience. First of all, sidebar, you get to work with veteran actors, and it's such a beautiful thing because like it challenges your own process. Mm-hmm. This is besides like equity, that type of stuff. It's like I come into the stage reading. I read the play, I've made some choices. I've made some tactics for my character, all that good stuff. But folks come into the stage reading, like I'm not going to say with a fully developed, but they have like a package of like, this is what it is. I'm not second guessing what I'm doing. This is what it's going to be. And then when we get into the rehearsal process, I can be flexible with it. But it's like they bring so much to the table. And it's like, and the use of language is just like water.
So it sounds like you were really inspired by these actors that you were working with.
Yeah.
And it steps up your game.
Yeah, most definitely, because especially when it's like we don't have like, there wasn't like an off-script date. They didn't say you have to be off book by this date. It was like, you know what you have to do. You know when you know. It's like and I mean like, and people rose to the challenge, and I'm and I'm like, I'm really glad that like my first two like Shakespeare productions were like small roles. Well, not small roles.
Because let's clarify that no such thing as a small role, Sheldon.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. The line, it wasn't as line heavy. We'll say that.
That's right.
Yeah, it wasn't line heavy. So yeah, it was a great introduction.
And so you have one more year.
After my second year, I'll have one more year, and I will have my MFA in my hand.
In your hand, and you'll probably be very close to having your equity card in your hand.
Yes,
and can I just boast for the school and you for a moment? Didn't the school hook you up with like a full scholarship or something?
Yes, they. Let me tell you.
Yes.
It was the best decision of my life. So sidebar, with the cast of the Royale, Danielle and I were talking, and it was like, Philip, the guy who's playing Witten in the show, we were talking, and it was like I was stuck between two locations. I won't disclose the second one, but I'll say University of Southern Mississippi. Yeah, I mean it was top notch.
Right.
And one was offering like maybe like 30% coverage of the tuition and the whole package, while the other one was offering like 100% coverage and then like an extra stipend. And then it's like you're starting to think, it's like, well, but do I follow the money? Do I follow this? Do I follow that? And the funny thing is like the Royale Fish was from Mississippi. One of the people who was working on props was from Mississippi. Every time Mississippi was popping up like crazy, and I'm still everywhere. I'm still over here walking around. God, where do you want me to go? Where do you think I should go? And it was the best decision of my life because when I visited the schools in New York, when I visited New York for a little bit after starting Mississippi, after starting at USM, I realized I could not go to school here. Not that it's like it would be impossible for me to get around, but it's like where I'm at right now, it's such an ideal place just to learn and soak up without any type of distractions.
Right. And that's what you wanted.
Yeah.
That works for where you are in your life, right?
Yes, definitely. And it was the best decision of my life. The university here is amazing. The training it's crazy intense. Like I came in my first semester, I came in on dialects.
Oh, from the jump.
From the jump. And I'm just like,
hey, can we, is there a favorite dialect that is there a favorite dialect you could share like 10 seconds of with us?
I think I gotta, between you and I, it was a tough course. So,
between you and me.
Okay, between you and me. So, what you talking about? Walking down the street, and then I saw something over there. Another one.
Was that New York?
That was my attempt at New York.
Okay, he's getting there, guys. He's getting there. We'll give him a B+, B-.
Do not understand when I ask you a question.
Oh, I think it is. Are you doing a South African accent?
Yes. It sometimes goes to like German when I don't think about it. But yes, I.
Oh, was that German? You say what you just did was German?
A little.
Wow.
Welcome to the Kit Kat Club.
Oh, that's nice. That's nice. That's really exciting, Sheldon. I like hearing it. I haven't ever experienced the German accent before.
So like, but the thing is though, is like the greatest thing about this is like, about grad school is like, I'm not perfect, but like I have the tools that I need that if someone says, Sheldon, can you do this dialect? I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Give me like a day. I will come back and we can grow from there.
You can jump in. You got the tools to know how to improve on the accent or the dialect. Right. You're like, you have a starting point.
It's the greatest. It's the greatest. And I actually find out we had auditions this week for Cabaret, Night of the Iguana, and our Emerging Artist series. And I find out where I'll go sometime today.
Okay.
So,
oh my gosh. Will you give me a text?
I will definitely shoot you a text.
I'll let Danielle know.
Yes, please do.
Cabaret, that's some singing.
Yeah.
Do you sing too?
It's not the best, but look, I can work myself around a song. I'll tell you that now.
Right.
I can do a little something. I'm a great ensemble member. Biggest thing about grad school, when I talk to my friends, they're like, Sheldon, all you talk about is grad school. I says, I know, this is my life now. Yeah. Biggest thing that I love about grad school is that you start to find the ways that you need to challenge yourself. I get ensemble work for free, like because of my dance background, and then we sing, and then we're really energetic. I get that stuff for free. In grad school, I really want to like push myself to take on new challenges and new types of characters. Like I've played like, young characters. I've played like comedic old characters, and now it's like I'm really shooting for like, my shot at as like a principal role in a show.
Yeah.
That like the
lead. I know exactly what you mean. So
yeah,
you're playing maybe more character roles.
Yeah, and and this isn't like saying that like, oh gosh, I'm it's more I'm like challenging my type.
Yeah, showing your diversity. You can do a variety of things. I think I've heard Danielle say that a lot. We're actors. We can play any role.
Yeah.
Why do they always typecast?
Right.
So,
and if anything, I think theater is the one place where we should challenge our perspective on the types of people that we think of typecasting. Like, there's always those ingenues, there's always those like older motherly types, but what if you challenge that? It may read differently on stage, but like
so much richer,
right? But especially like in the academic setting, it's like that's why I like USM is that they don't keep you on the same, this is what you're good at, you're going to stay here in this realm the entire time you're here. No, It's like, okay, wow, you do older characters really great. All right, we're going to make you a young person now. Let's see how you do. It's a great challenge because
it's a safe place to do those types of take those risks. It's a risk to
safe
them.
Place.
Of course,
yeah.
They feel, maybe they would look at it as a risk, but it's a safe place. It's an educational environment, and that's the place to explore.
Yeah, exactly.
So let me close with this. I want to know. I want you to do a twofer. Tell us about. There's something I know very personal about you, and then you and I talked about it very briefly. I'd like you, if you're open to it, sharing it with others, and then segueing into how aspiring actors might consider how your qualities of dedication and fearlessness. What do you have for aspiring actors as well?
Okay. So I have a rare blood disorder called aplastic anemia with PNH, and PNH stands for, bear with me, paroxysmal nocturnal hemoglobinuria.
Wow.
And basically all that means is that my stem cells don't produce enough red blood cells, white blood cells, and platelets, and then the cells I do produce, they destroy each other. I was diagnosed back in 2012. And I've been battling it ever since. The only cure is a bone marrow transplant. But along the way of, different medications trying to get my condition under control, blood clots formed in my hip socket. And it was 2014 when that happened. And this was when I was like at my peak physically, like, especially as a performer and a dancer. Like I had stamina. As a dancer, ask me to do anything, I would do it. It's like, take your leg over your head. Okay, all right, it's there. So it was a real blow to to myself as a performer, knowing that I needed to have hip surgery because of the blood clots. So I still went forth with it. It wasn't hip replacement. It was called a vascular bone graft, which is basically when they take a piece of my tibula, they drill a hole in the femoral head, they scoop the blood clot out, and they insert that tibula into the hip socket, and that restores blood flow back to the joints. I was down for I was in the hospital for 2-3 weeks. And then I was in a wheelchair for about 4 or 5 months. Wow. And then I was on crutches for 3 months after that, and then physical therapy. And, but I'm stubborn. So I say that as in I still was in school the entire time. Mm-hmm. I still pursued theater in some aspect. When, as an actor and a dancer, when I couldn't dance as much as I did, it really pushed me towards, let me work with theater. Let me work with acting. Let me work on those skills and craft that a little bit. Even though I couldn't perform at the time, I tried my approach at dramaturgy. I tried my approach at more stage management opportunities. I still found work in the field. I didn't, it was difficult because there were times I just didn't want to do anything. Mm-hmm. I just wanted to literally give up. I said, okay, so this is, all right, God, this is saying that I shouldn't do this at all, because we always try to find a cop out sometimes, but the stubbornness in me is no, you're in school for this. This is what you committed to. This is what you really, really love. Keep pushing, find different ways to do it that are safe, for where you are in life. But, but I managed to dance again. Yes. Yeah, I still dance. It took a lot of work to get back to a safe place physically, because I lost a lot of muscle in the leg that had the hip surgery. And, I still, I don't have as much rotation or much access, as in open hips as I've had before. And it's at the point I'm does that mean I can never be a professional dancer? Could I never, pursue dance intensely like I did before? No, you just have to, it's just because roadblocks or obstacles come, that doesn't mean we stop. We have to adapt and find ways to move around it safely without hurting the car we're driving in, Mm-hmm. That's my biggest thing to a lot of young performers, young artists, actors, dancers, singers, is that if this is what you really want to do, if this is what you feel is your calling, if this is what you love to do, if you had to pick the perfect day and this involved it, stick with it, commit to it. We think about money. We think about what if my body gives out? What if I never make it? Yeah, but what if you do? What if it doesn't? I think we have to give our dreams an honest shot and an honest chance. And doing that doesn't mean giving up the moment adversity comes. Mm. You've got to I'm always got to keep pushing, pray until something happens, find ways to use your interests to continue to do what you love, regardless of what happens. I'm kind of happy and blessed for the hip surgery because, one, it's put a lot into perspective for me. Sure. I was still, for a while, not that I was immature, but I was in a place that I was I'm going through the motions. I'm doing it because it's that's what I'm supposed to do. That's, I'm an actor, I'm in theater, that's what I'm supposed to do. And it really helped me grow as an artist because I actually had to find my physicality again. Yeah. And that was the biggest thing, when you're used to being super, super duper flexible, and then all of a sudden it's yeah, no, you're not, that's not what you are anymore. You're something else. It takes some adjustment, but it also gives you a deeper appreciation for the art itself. But,
the art itself.
Because I think at some point, physically I was so ahead, but mentally I was so behind. Mm-hmm. And I think I'm finally at a happy medium with my mind and my body as a performer.
Oh, amen. That's a huge thing right there. You're in sync.
Yeah.
The mind, body, and spirit are in sync.
Yeah.
Then your artistry is going to really be on a whole new level.
Yeah,
And-
because there was so much I could do as a dancer, but it was like, it didn't mean anything because it was the depth in my work wasn't there.
Right.
Yeah.
And when I think about what you said earlier, you kind of inspire me. I might name this particular program, this episode rather, Give Your Dreams an Honest Shot. Isn't that what you said? And I thought, I really like the way he encapsulated that. And I might start naming all my interviews now. It's something really poignant, that someone says. And that was a great way you put that. So that would be your part of your words for aspiring artists, young artists, to give your dreams an honest shot.
Yeah.
To be determined and focused. You have an very strong work ethic, you said earlier.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, like, I believe it wholeheartedly. I am not a singer, but I have worked on it. And, look, you can put me in a strong ensemble. You can give me 2 or 3 lines to sing by myself in a musical.
Okay.
All right. You can give me a solo. I can work around it. Hard work beats talent every single time. Like, don't compare yourself to others, because what they do great is going to be different than what you do great. The way they work, the way they are is who they are. And that makes them only just one thing. And then you're something else. And you guys are both special. And I think really just owning who you are, and it goes a long way as an artist.
Don't try to replicate anyone.
Right.
Superstar Sheldon MBA. Thank you for being on this. Thank you for being on this program.
Thank you for having me. It's a great way to start like my Friday.
Oh my goodness. It's just such an honor to have you here. And to be a part of the program, to share your life with us, and to find this particular moment important enough on your Friday morning. Bless you. Bless you.
Thank you.
I'm going to blow you a kiss in FaceTime in cyberspace. Okay?
Okay, I'm going to catch it and I'm going to blow you one back.
Here we go.
Huh?
Hey, if anyone wants to follow you, where do they follow you? Can they follow you online? What's your social media?
Awesome. If you want to follow me on Instagram, my username is Sheldon_M as in Mary, B as in boy, A as in apple. Sheldon_MBA. If you want to follow me on Twitter, you can do MBA_Sheldon. You'll find me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good. Well, this is Ticket to the Stars presents. It's a broadcast of a Stargaze Broadcast in association with Little Raleigh Radio. Little Raleigh Radio is a 501c3. And if you want to be a donor for Little Raleigh Radio, you can follow them or check them out on littleraleigh.org. Sheldon, superstar, thank you for being on Ticket to the Stars presents. We love you.
Thank you. Bye. Love y'all.
Ticket to the Stars presents. That's TTTSP, Tuesdays at 3 on littleraleigh.org.
A Stargaze Broadcast. A Stargaze Broadcast. A Stargaze Broadcast.
This is Jacob Downey, one of the co-founders of Little Raleigh Radio. We are elated to count Ticket to the Stars Presents and our lineup of programming, helping you hear where you are through celebrating inspiring artists in your community and beyond with great conversation. If you're in the Raleigh area and you would like to join us and Ticket to the Stars Presents in amplifying great voices, email listen@littleraleigh.org.